Thank you, Congressman. Thank you. I went to a public university, go Bears, across the way, so I don't know how to read. So I'm not going to use a teleprompter, I'm winging it from the heart. For those of you who, like me, were a little late and had to huff it up the hill because of the beautiful New Year's celebration, Shinyan Kwaila, Gong Hei Fa Choi. It's a big part of our city. I love it every year. I am a native Bay Arean, not from San Francisco, from across the way in a small town called Moraga. And I was involved with scouting for more than half of my life, for 16 years. I just turned 30, and I am gay. And I came out 6 months ago because a 17-year-old from my home troop in Moraga had the courage to come out to defend a straight kid against bullying from a really mean, anonymous parent. And because he came out, he lost his entire adolescence worth of work towards becoming an Eagle Scout and was kicked out of Boy Scouting and kicked out of my home troop. I want to love the Boy Scouts of America, and I do love it, but it's time for it to change. And Senator Lara is doing something amazing to help give it that little extra nudge that it needs when it meets again in May to make not just the prudent decision, but the right one, the morally right one, the morally straight one. Speaking of which, I heard someone mention something from the Scout Oath. How many Scouts and Eagle Scouts do we have in the audience today? Raise your hand. And Girl Scouts and other type of youth organization award winners. How is it that the Boy Scouts of America is the only one that discriminates against gay people? How is it that the military is mature enough to serve alongside people? I was in the Navy. I was discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I am baffled that the Navy hasn't turned into a massive gay cruise since the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I was going to re-up. But I wanted to put a personal note because for anyone here who knows me, I love hyperbole, but there's a lot of truth in this. And I'm a pretty private person. That's why it took me so long to come out. But it was the right thing to do intuitively. And this young man's struggle and his family, his father and his mother, Eric and Karen Andresen are in the corner over there. And they... And I know they're dealing with this struggle. And their son is an amazing person. And they've been amazing parents, the epitome of good parents. But it's still hard. And this issue tears families apart. And it tears communities apart. And I've witnessed that in my hometown. And we've tried so hard to come together. One death is a tragedy. And 1 million is a statistic. We've all heard this from that crazy person in Russia a little while back. But he was right. Joseph Stalin was right. And so what I want to do is emphasize, hyperbolize everything that we're all familiar with and experiences that I'm guessing most people in this room have shared. And that is the issue of suicide that was danced around earlier. Senator Lara, with this legislation, is saving lives. He's saving individuals' lives. He's saving people's lives. And it seems like hyperbole, but it's not. I lost the only two people that I've ever loved. Thankfully, they're still alive, but I lost them to homophobia. One because he couldn't handle it and did alcohol and drugs when he was very young and became schizophrenic and disappeared as a person. And the second because he came from a very traditional family in Brazil, and his gigantic family would not accept him, and he went back into the closet. And those people shouldn't be lost. And the people that we read about every week that take their lives, each face you see, I know everyone feels this too. We see it and it's tragic. Each one is a tragedy. And this legislation is one more step into preventing not just one person, but many people from feeling alone, from feeling like they're less than, from being kicked out of the organization that their friends are in, from being bullied. And I want to personally, from my experience and from my interaction with Andresens and their wonderful son, Ryan, who is unbelievably courageous, and despite the fact that he's a shy young man leading this fight to help end discrimination in one of the largest youth organizations in the country, I want to thank personally from the bottom of my heart Senator Lara for his work and bringing forth this legislation, and I will turn the microphone back over to Congressman.